I always say to people about the mentality of a bodybuilder, you have to have, something has to be triggered inside of you. You can't be normal. You know, you have to have that satisfaction of never being satisfied, because you always want to be better. You always want a better physique. You have to push yourself beyond limitations. You look at some guys that potentially could be the best physiques in the world, but they don't have the mental capability to push themselves. Mentally, you have to be, I think, a little crazy. You don't understand the benefits of being a normal person until you look at someone like me who, you know, can't buy clothes off the shelf, can't eat normal places to eat, can't ride in certain size cars, can't ride in certain size airplane seats, going to hotels overseas, staying in small beds, trying to fit in small showers. It's hard to shop, it's hard to go out to eat, it's hard to travel. So, I mean, when you're 290 pounds, it's very difficult to do a lot of things. You know, you're so abnormal. I mean, it's compared to what people are used to seeing. People laugh because they just never see anyone so huge, you know. It's hard to hide it. And I don't wear big baggy clothes. A lot of times I wear more form-fitting stuff, and you know, people don't, it's not the norm. You have certain places where you grow up and you're like, I want to be there. I mean, this is one of those places. I came to Vegas the first time in '97. I fell in love with it, you know. And that was before it was built up even the way it is now. But what other place can you go in 24 hours a day? You just wake up and decide, I want to go do this, or I want to go do that. Like, I want to eat. I want to go work out. I want to go see a movie. You know, I want to go to the supermarket. I want to go eat at this restaurant. You know, it's just, you can do anything you want, pretty much. You can have sushi till 6 in the morning. I don't know any place in the world, really, that's, you know, on a consistent basis that you can do that stuff. I like the fast tempo of Vegas. I couldn't live in a slow environment. People always ask me, you ever going to move back to I could never go back to the slow pace, you know. People ask me, how do you train and focus in Vegas when there's so many outside things pulling at you? And I think that I thrive on that. I love to be able to know that most people can't do that. I mean, I love to be able to have that at my fingertips, even though I never take advantage of it. It gives me more drive, being in a place that's so actively just crazy, and I'm still so focused on what I do. It's kind of like the opposite thinking a little bit, you know. Here we are. What's up, guys?
What up?
What's going on, man? All right, pull-ups. Shirts off. Kelly, you're getting all swolled up. Got to do something for the Olympia. I'm going to put bodybuilding.com in the back of my head. Jay Cutler trainer.
I got big over like a couple set of months. So you taking it down again?
Yeah,
like you did last time?
You're gonna shave my face too.
Keep the top.
Yeah, just a little tight, you know, tight at the bottom, nice and clean, like
a taper, right? One of the taper.
You know, I find myself nowadays, I don't even touch my hair in the morning. I get up, that's what my hair looks like. Then I jump in the pool. Traveling and being Jay Cutler, it's not an easy thing. Everywhere you go, you're noticed, and of course you're in demand. People say, what do you do for a living? I said, I eat, sleep, and train, and that's it. I kind of joke like that because it does seem like that a lot of times, but there is some fun built in there. But I never looked at myself and said, I'm so obsessed because I always seem to have some sort of balance in there, and I always realized that this is a career, and obviously if you go at it full tilt all the time, you're going to burn yourself down. So you have to set a certain pace for yourself to the point where you're continually moving forward and being great.
Right there, you want to take
It's good, right? It's good.
Want some Joe?
No. I'm going to take a shower and clean up.
The Olympic chair.
We should get it. Larry! I need your help! What's going on with the shirts?
I just called Kevin actually, so he is gonna call me back. Everything should be done this week.
I know, but this week meaning what?
Tomorrow, Wednesday the latest. Honestly, I believe they're done. Usually, like, I show up at like...
When he wants to?
No, 9 and 10.
When he wants to show up.
9 and 10.
It depends if he goes out the night before.
No, I don't even go out anymore. I just work at night. That's it.
Every day it's different. You know, I say, pay this bill. Okay, you're going to call these people. It's, you know, it's literally I sit in the kitchen and I scream to him, hey, you know, do this, do that, you know. Yeah. So he's trying to do a job that probably takes 3 or 4 people. And for a 21-year-old kid to be able to do that, like... I mean, it takes a lot of his time. He works 6 days a week at least, you know, sometimes 7.
You know, when you think you've seen someone work hard, like, oh man, he works hard. And then you meet someone like Jay and you're like, this is a whole nother ball game. You
know, it's not like we're operating a huge operation over here. I mean, I'm running it out of my house and my garage, and yes, there's a lot of space, but, you know, we have day-to-day things that we need to get done, and I'm only home on certain times. I traveled this year extensively. And we had 1 or 2 days to get stuff done when I was home, and we rely on other people, and it's impossible to do that. So we try to do everything, you know, on our own.
What do I overnight that? I've never overnight anything.
I know you like to spend money, dude. I see how much it costs. It costs $35 to send a damn poster.
No, it doesn't. What are you talking about?
It cost you $35. That one poster cost.
No, it didn't.
I saw it. Did I not see it?
I saw it. No, it didn't cost me $35. I'll show you right now.
What did I say about that poster that day? Don't lie.
Yes, I did see that it said that.
Oh, you said that. I have no choice. That's what they choose.
Whoa, what kid, was it a poster in a large box?
No, it was a poster.
By itself?
Yes.
And it cost $35?
Yes.
Okay, I'll pull it up right now. And if it's $35, then you can have my check. Yeah. You can have my whole check.
It's gonna come out of your pay. Don't start, Monique. I'm in a bad mood. Even Larry said I came out in a bad mood this morning. And that's the thing. We run with the crew, and there's time when we play and there's time when we work, and this is all business now. I mean, I admit half my life is playtime. 3/4 of my life is playtime. But when it comes down to get the business and the business is now, I mean, we have no time for fun. You know, I've been a 4-time champ, you know, and I've been 6-time runner-up. And I'm the greatest bodybuilder ever. There's no question. I feel that I'm the greatest. I still want to compete at my best, even at the age that I'm at. And, you know, people say past your prime. I mean, I don't know if there's any past your prime. When I'm still competitive, you don't want to think about that. You're not going to go into a show and say, well, I'm past my prime. I'm just doing it for the, you know, just to stand up there. That's not how an athlete or a champion bodybuilder, you know, trains for a competition or things. They always want to think about winning and being your absolute best. No failure at this point. You know, I've done it all. There's never going to be a day that passes that I'm going to step out and people aren't going to know who Jay Cutler is. I don't see it ever happening. Ron, what's up? Oh no. Yeah, I'm back in Vegas for the week, and I think Dave's coming this coming weekend. He's going to shoot some training stuff, and then I shoot with Burnell next week, I think, for some features. Hey, what's the name of that pizza place next to Kaizen? I like more lounge-type places like Hyde Lounge at Bellagio. Monique! Or Trist at the Wynn. No, I don't go to strip clubs. I got a stripper pole in my bedroom. I don't need strip clubs. You know, when you have 30-something inch thighs and you got, 22.5-inch arms and you got a 19-inch neck and a broad shoulder, it's difficult to find things other than tank tops and shorts. Everything's custom. I mean, I can't fit into normal sleeves. Obviously, the dress shirts are tailored, like the button-up shirts. My suit jackets, I think, are 58 or 60 or something like that. I mean, it's crazy.
If you look at what's considered an ideal drop to a manufacturer of suits, it's a 6-inch drop. That's the difference between your chest and your waist. I've got some guys that, are fairly serious bodybuilders, and they've got a 10-inch drop. And Jay has 20. It kind of defies the physics of what you can do with fabric, in a constructed sense, to go from here to here. All right, Jay, you ready to go to work?
I want stuff tight now, remember.
Okay, so 54, and you were 57. That's a big difference. Feet together. Wow, that's about 5 inches less, Jay. That's pretty serious.
I won my first Olympia heavier than I weigh right now. I was competing against Ronnie, 273. I mean, when I came back and won in 2009, I was 254. It's all illusion,
37. Actual thigh, 29. 19. Go ahead and flex. 21 and a half. You've lost a lot of weight, so we're gonna be doing some different things here.
By the end of the day. Yeah, it's hard to hide it. That's the one thing about being a professional bodybuilder is where other people can hide, athletes, unless they're like real famous faces, you just can't hide the physique. I mean, and the thing is like, a lot of bodybuilders change from on season to off season. Like, I don't change a whole lot. I'm pretty much visible. The hair's the same. The face stays the same, And, I'm a unique look for a lot of the bodybuilders, there's not a lot of huge, big blonde white guys,
Oh, look at all those zits. I'm gonna pop them after.
How bad is it growing in now?
Oh my god.
Bad?
You're like a chia pet.
I never had hair on my back until I started shaving, that? When I got ready for my first show when I was 18, it's like when I started shaving my back, it's like I turned into a gorilla. Larry told me to do Nair. Let's bust his shot. I'm not telling you to shave my armpits. Hey, Larry! I need your help! Larry! Dude, I need to shave my armpits.
Oh no. You got it, you're good, she's good.
You sure?
Yeah.
No, look at my armpits.
There's nothing in there.
My lower back, you did too? When you're my size, you never think you're small. Like, I like the way I look now. I'm always in decent shape, and I always check myself out. I never look at my face, though. I mostly look at the physique, I flex the abs and, Oh, right there. As you've seen the progression, you know, almost 50 years of bodybuilding in the Mr. Olympia competition, you know, we saw the days of Arnold where they weren't so conditioned or so big, and nowadays, I mean, the guys are so big and so conditioned. There's so many variables, and bodybuilding has become so scientific in trying to tune the body in to you know, show the best conditioning with the most size. Have I gotten too big? You know, bodies aren't made to be as strong as I guess that Mr. Olympia competitors become.
Jay, I'm going to give you a safety briefing before we go on the range. We're going to treat every gun as if it's loaded at all times, even if you know it's unloaded. Always keep your trigger finger off the trigger till you're on target and ready to fire. And always keep the gun pointed in a safe direction. If at any time you hear someone call out ceasefire, please stop shooting, take a finger off the trigger, put the gun down on the counter, step back away from it. Put your body weight forward. It helps you to absorb the recoil.
You're a gangster.
I know.
Single shot, full auto.
You can never teach anyone training advice. It's always the business, because everyone wants to make the money. They want to be a superstar and look like a superstar. The magazines expose you as a superstar because you're featured with the muscles and the look, you know. But financially, they want the backup of that. And that's what I have. I have all the tools to create that. A lot of people have come to me for that opportunity. Yeah, we may stumble, but we always land higher and get to where we need to be. Even when I was smaller, I hate to say small, but I look at these guys and still say, I'm still the best and still the greatest and still the biggest name in bodybuilding.
Show, come on. Let's go, Jay, come on. Suck it up, suck it up, suck it up, suck it up.
Mentally, you have to be, I think, a little crazy. People approach me and they say, Jay, what's the secret? What's the secret? I don't like to eat anything. And if you ask me what my favorite food is, I don't have a favorite food. I don't look forward to any meal at all. You're a living legend. That's what's amazing about what I do. And I'll tell you, Jay Cutler's the greatest of all time. You know, you're asking me if I get sick of being a bodybuilder? Never. I mean, I love lifting weights. That's what I do.
Let's go, Jay, come on. Come on. Doc runs the show, come on.
Almost every night, seriously. When is he coming in? When's he coming in next?
What do you think people think when they see Jay in the gym?
Most of them can't believe that they can get that big. Be honest with you.
First time you see him, it's a lot of looks. Everyone goes, shakes his hand, interrupts his workouts, takes pictures.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
But Jay has never turned one person down ever to take a picture, to do an autograph, to talk to someone. He's always went out of his way to help everyone out. When Jay comes in, everyone wants to be like Jay. Not like Mike. Everyone wants to be like Jay.
The biggest achievement that I'd never expected was to give the motivation to a lot of people when I was just trying to be motivated myself to go to the gym. You know, I train in public because I don't want to be surrounded and locked in the lifestyle to the extreme. I mean, I live in it day in, day out. You know, I'm cooking and training and never stepping out of the shoes of being who I am, and that's Jay Cutler, the bodybuilder. So for me, I have my own sanctuary, which is pretty much my office that, you know, here I look around at the achievements. I'm surrounded by what my life from the beginning to now has become. So for me, it's enough for me. And yes, I have some function equipment in the gym, like cardiovascular and that kind of things, which are necessary in the morning. I don't want to have to drive to the gym, so that allows me to be able to get in what I need to. And of course, I'd leave all the weights to the gym. They have the most weights. I like to do variety. You know, I move heavy dumbbells, so, you know, I work anywhere between 25 and to, you know, 160-pound dumbbells most often. So that'd be kind of a big collection to have in your home gym. And the way I look at it is I'm always going to weight train, but not to that extreme. You know, I think when I retire, I mean, throwing around 100-something pound dumbbells, I mean, that's probably not going to happen as much. So it's kind of pointless to build something that's not forever. You know, I think the biggest misconception is that we do things really extremely different, and that's not necessarily the case. I mean, it's very, very basic what a professional bodybuilder does, and I'm just speaking on my own behalf. I mean, I've been basic since the beginning. You know, I had a certain amount of genetics that I was blessed with. You know, I started on a specific diet. I stuck with the basics of training. I get a common question all the time. People approach me and they say, Jay, what's the secret? What's the secret? And there is no secret. The secret is progression, consistency, dedication, day in, day out. There's certain body parts I do like to train harder. I might train arms a little lighter, whereas, you know, back training, leg training is a lot heavier and harder. What I like to usually do is structured, you know, rest days around those training days, because sometimes it can be pretty intense. Anyone asks me, what are you training tomorrow? I usually have an idea, but if they ask me what time, I couldn't even tell you the time I wake up in the morning, what time I'll go to the gym. And if I tell you a time, even an hour before, I'll never be on time. That's how I work. I don't have really scheduled training partners. I have people that pick up and train with me here and there. They kind of know just I'm on call, and, you know, just let me know an hour before, so of course they can get food in and get the training and where to meet me.
I'm done there. Let's do some dumbbells. Okay.
It's different when you don't have a team. You know, have a structure where it's like, you know, a time schedule where you're expecting people to show up, or some place is going to be open. Vegas, I mean, that's why I train here. It's the best place to train. It's like an athlete's playground here, pretty much. I mean, we train 24 hours a day and eat 24 hours, and I mean, there's no weather variables. Everything is just in tune with what you're trying to do, because you can just make it any kind of structure you want, and the result will be the same each day. Every day's similar. I mean, I don't listen to music, so like you hear these stories about guys listening to music, getting amped up and going. And for me, it's not really an emotional thing, where I'm very driven to do what I do, and I realize the job on hand, so I don't need that extra anger or any kind of frustration to train any harder. You know, I surround myself with people sometimes. If I need extra motivation, I'll get someone to go in the gym and push me. I get some people to pick up some weights sometimes.
All right, one more set with that 10 on. Well, I'm going to do one more set with that 10.
Everyone knows what I do in the gym. You know, everyone always trains harder than you, no matter what you... I train as hard as him. I could be his size if I trained, you know, if I had the opportunity to not work and go to the gym. So you can never teach anyone training advice. I mean, we talk about spending money for food and all this other stuff. I mean, I spend $1,000 a week on tissue work. It's crazy. Anyone that lifts weights, you're tearing down muscle tissue, so you're going to have breakdown of the tissue that's going to get adhesed to other tissue. So what we're trying to do is take the stress off that muscle, keep the muscle healthy and, of course, flexible, pliable, and it's going to help with muscle growth, it's going to help with flexibility, and it's going to help avoid any injuries and even fix injuries. When something's so tight, you're not going to get the blood in there like you need to. And that's what happens like with a lot, like my hamstrings get super tight. So when I train my hamstrings, I don't get the pump that I might get when I do chest or whatever else. You have super tight muscles and no flexibility and no stretching, your muscles aren't going to grow. This is going to help with all that. This guy's I think he's a chiropractor by trade, but he's the specialist in this active release. I mean, he's probably the guy in Vegas that, I mean, I've been going to him since 2003 or 4. Has he been a staple of my success in my career? Absolutely. So I want to do the hamstring and the lat, of course, and shoulder.
All right, very good.
Whatever you think feels. I had last week off from you, so... But I do want to get this hamstring, that inside canal.
Is that where we were last time? Way up top?
Yeah, get it in there and then see how that feels. But you can feel there's a spot on the inside of the hamstring too. Feel kind of that, isn't it?
Yeah, that's actually a pretty sore. Yeah. The normal person, if you're looking at the quad, I may only have a couple inches of tissue. If you look at these ham hocks, I mean, it's 30 passes to the 2. Yeah. And he's getting bigger. So, I mean, Jay's dense. So what happens is, especially with inside that tissue, those fibers adhere and stick like a paintbrush with the fibers all here together. So as they start to stick and bind, it creates a scar. And what I'm doing is I'm finding those areas of concern. I'm taking a contact on them, and I'm holding a translated contact, so I'm not really compressing the tissue, even though there is some compression. You're trying to get those fibers to break free so that they can fill with blood.
Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh, right there, oh. You have to laugh, it hurts so much, no? That felt amazing, though. As much as it hurt.
The biggest and most impressive thing is that each year it gets better. I deal with a lot of world-class athletes, thousands. You know, a lot of guys, post-season, there's a big change in their physique. Jay stays pretty much a specimen, if you will, year-round, looking great. Right in there, bud.
Yeah. Is it the hamstring?
Yeah, that's a hamstring with a little bit of adductor. Good, come back.
I don't know what that looks like on camera, but it's like...
I can tell by how hard he's working.
But when
you raise your head, there's things
like
that
we've discussed this, the necessity of certain areas of my body, and he's like, you know, a lot of places where people won't, you know, go to really relieve what stuck, you know. He's like, well, you have to get in certain places. It may not be the most comfortable, but
you got to put in the time, and he does that, whether it be my table or the gym. I mean, you have to have a pretty trained eye to even see some of the areas of major injury. And Jay's had his fair share of injury. He's worked through it. If you were to look at the recovery rate in which he had on the bicep, You know, it's a little bit of luck, great surgical, but great rehabilitative effort. I mean, just sometimes that you can't rehab. It's like putting together two ends of a paintbrush. That's a feat, man, right there. That's a huge feat.
See where it tore? You can see a little bit when I do a front latch, but see that indent? You can see it as, you can see in the right light. When you get under the stage lights, you can see it. Because the belly tore too. That's why they told me you'll never have flexion in your arm again. That's why I said I'm never going to compete again. They told me it would never be hard, it would be soft. So when it healed, the guy's like, I don't know how it healed, but he's like, we tied it super tight, so let's hope that it heals right, and it healed okay. And it was hard as a rock, like right after. It made it bigger, so now I gotta, the other ones, this one's gonna be bigger now. Go, up, yeah! Push it. The unique thing about me is I don't have a set schedule, so it really varies on day to day how I feel, and when I train is determined on how my body feels. Typically I go by the basic guidelines, is I try to eat 3 or 4 meals before I train for sure. Most importantly is my sleep. I need to make sure that I sleep enough, which is really only about 5 hours a night, 4 to 5 hours. But typically I train really, really late. I avoid the crowds. I don't go by any set schedule, and I don't train on a specific body part schedule. I just train specifically how my body tells me that I need to. So if I'm scheduled to do back or chest on a certain day, I might switch it and do legs. Sometimes I group body parts differently. It kind of go by feel. If I'm really sore, I'll take a day off. I don't have a set day off schedule. Like most people take a Sunday off. I don't do that. I just regularly go by feel, and that's helped me gain great success all the way along my career. It seemed to be the best thing for me. Up, back! Go! Up, back! So I like to keep the weights very heavy and do lower reps. And obviously, what happens is when you train with as much volume as me, you can't do as many repetitions because you'll just burn yourself up. I mean, you have to have one or the other. Either you're gonna do less weight, you know, more repetitions and less sets, or you're gonna do a lot more sets, heavier weights and less reps. So I choose to do the heavier weights, less reps, more volume, pump the muscle, keep filling it up, hit the angles. I wanted to have, obviously, freakish body parts. It was never really like, I want all eyes on me type of thing. It was never an ego, I want everyone to notice me. I wanted to look presentable where I walked around when I wasn't in contest shape and I just was big and round and people admired the muscles. I think pretty much I've secured the legacy on the competition stage. I really don't have any real specific goals as far as my physique, as far as, I'm not going in the gym and saying, well, I need to have my legs 2 inches bigger or anything like that. I think, with me, it's more on the aspect of the legacy of Jay Cutler and where it's going to go from here. That's the show. Come on. Let's go, Jay. Come on. Suck it up, suck it up, suck it up, suck it up.
Mentally, you have to be, I think, a little crazy. People approach me and they say, Jay, what's the secret? What's the secret? I don't like to eat anything. If you ask me what my favorite food is, I don't have a favorite food. I don't look forward to any meal at all. You're a living legend. That's what's amazing about what I do. And I'll tell you, Jay Cutler's the greatest of all time.
Hey, Meeks, we have salad stuff, right? Okay. I'm gonna have salad with my next meal, I think.
The hardest part about me training for a competition and trying to be like the Jay Cutler people know as a bodybuilder, not as like just a fitness guy, as a competitive bodybuilder, is the amount of calories I need to eat, the consumption of food, because it's consistent. And I still can't eat enough. Like I'm in a deficit now on a daily basis trying to eat enough food. I went to bed at 280 last night and I woke up at 271. But that's how much I lose. I mean, on the stairs, I'll lose 7 pounds. 7 pounds every morning on the stairs, 7 pounds of water. The way I balance everything is what I wake up to and what I go to bed at a lot. When I get to the point where I wake up at the same weight I go to bed at, that's when I know my body's in a good holding pattern. Right now, it's out of control.
He has a pretty big breakfast, actually. But today and for the last few weeks, he's been drinking his egg whites. So 2 cups of egg whites with 1 scoop of protein. Then he has 3 whole eggs, 3 packets of grits, 2 pieces of Ezekiel toast, and coffee. That will probably end soon, though.
No one understands how strict it is being on a mealtime schedule where you can only eat 2.5, 3 hours. The average person should eat at least 5 meals. I think, you know, if you're eating every 3 hours, you have to be able to eat consistently.
I can't fall asleep until he eats his meal, because then he'll forget about it, and he'll wake up like, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning and then eat it, but that's too late. So I gotta stay up and make sure he eats it. And it's not easy waking him up if he falls asleep.
Alarm went off, 6, 7 times before I got up to eat it. I got up and ate about 3. So I ate at 12 and then I ate at 3, every 3 hours.
You want,
2 toasts.
yeah, I got that. Do you want the cottage cheese?
Yeah, I do. I want to keep it in there.
Okay.
Get him.
You jumping in?
Give him a couple months to get in shape. Get him with your doctor.
When I worked construction in my family business, I was forced to eat very quickly. So now I actually take my time and enjoy my food a lot more because I'm not rushed. But I would only eat like 3 major meals a day. I was in the pitfalls of what everyone else did or does, and not eat enough sufficient amount of calories on a continuous basis. So for me, the amount of calories I can eat is it's off the textbook. It's hard because you fall like, okay, you have to eat on a diet and you can't eat, everyone cuts processed foods and they eat, no fruit and they can't eat certain things. But with me, if I cut that stuff, I shrink. I can't eat oatmeal and egg whites and fish and, plain potatoes and that kind of stuff. I can't do it. I need to have like a lot of simple stuff in there, like the grits and like sugars after I train and some fruits in there and something fast. If I eat high carbohydrates that are fibrous, like high fiber, it burns. It doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't hit my body hard enough.
Ron, what's up? Yeah, and then on both the east and west side, you have, obviously Teriyaki Boy, which has the Jay Cutler bowl. It's famous for that. I'm always a big fan of 9 Steakhouse at the Palms. STK is also great at the Cosmopolitan. I go there quite often. What's the name of that pizza place next to Kaizen? Joe's Pizza? Joe's Pizza. Of course, yeah, that's the best In-N-Out burger. I just came off the In-N-Out burgers last week. No more In-N-Outs for 12 weeks. Most bodybuilders love to eat. They crave, I gotta eat this, gotta eat that. I have 0 cravings. I have 0 anticipation for any meal that I eat. I don't look forward to eat anything. If you ask me what my favorite food is, I don't have a favorite food. I don't like to eat anything. There's nothing specific that I like. I don't like to eat anything. I don't look forward to any meal at all. I've been eating, today I ate heavy.
I mean, would you have to go like back to eat now?
Well, dude, it's hard getting back to eating anyway, you know?
Right.
I mean, I didn't want to come back to this shit, you know? That was the worst part of my job, dude. Was eating, you know?
You're trying to run on no gasoline when you don't eat. You know, how you're gonna have productive workouts. I try to tell people, like, you gotta put as much effort into diet as you do into your weight training. Everyone goes to the gym, you know, 4 or 5 days a week that's into it. But they don't eat sufficiently enough to fuel that.
I wish, you know, you could take a pill and be able to just avoid cooking or anything like that. Cooking and eating is 5 or 6 hours of my day, no question. You know, and you see that living my life. If you follow me for a day or 2 or 3, you'll see that a lot of my day is the meals.
Are you on your 16 time a day meal plan? 37. 18 and a quarter. So 54. We work harder to make his clothes. I got to charge him a little extra.
Number one, you got to focus on your food. That's no question. So, you know, you have to make sure you get, you know, your protein and, you know, your carbohydrates, your fats, you know, your good fats, whatever. But, I mean, for products alone, I mean, most people are going to buy a protein powder, you know, multivitamin. They might, you know, then they might launch into pre-workouts and, you know, branched chain aminos. And then, of course, number one, fat burner if you're trying to lean out. But, you know, I don't suggest using a fat burner year-round. Pre-workouts and protein, yeah, of course, you know, you can use those year-round. You know, you're talking 3 or 4 products. I mean, it's necessity. It's something that, I mean, I think it's an advantage. You know, if you want to do things right, you got to have the advantage, right? So you have to try to find ways to budget and be able to, you know, fit that extra stuff in there.
There's nothing better than chicken on the grill. 10 ounces of chicken. You know, I grew up on a farm, so I mean, I knew food values kind of early. We were never allowed to eat very poorly. And I was in Massachusetts, so the meat that I was getting was very good quality. I mean, I attribute a lot of that to what my success was, because I was buying, like, you know, cows and like chicken breasts from like a real farm. I eat, you know, 100 grand worth of food probably between eating out and eating on a diet. I mean, I'm in Vegas, I go out, I eat out a lot too, you know, when I'm not training. So, I mean, that might not just be for myself, but just saying in general on food, it's my biggest expense probably. You know, I kind of do my thing. I like to stay at home and prep my food. I like to weigh everything. Like, I weigh everything. This is 10 ounces of meat, 12 ounces of potato. I mean, obviously now is a crucial time because I'm in training, so I take it much more serious. When I train, I don't like to eat out that much unless it's catered to what my diet is. This filleted steak, right? You can tell the difference how it cooks. I wonder if that other stuff is filet or not. It looks more like flank steak, huh? Just water is good, I think. Thanks. I think I took it to California with me. Yeah, regular infusion. How bad is it growing in now?
Oh my God.
Bad? You know, I never had hair on my back until I started shaving, you know that? Ever.
Really? That was a zit.
Oh.
I went over the zit.
Yeah, there's a zit back there?
Yeah, huge.
Everyone never had a zit, dude. Ever. You just popped
What are you talking about?
I used to have bad zits too, you know. When I eat potato chips, I got zits, you know that?
Did you tell them
Try
about...
some potato chips because they were local where I lived.
Did you tell them about what you used to eat at your mom's house when you would go visit?
Yeah, I used to get zits, dude, when I was like 12.
What did you eat?
Try some potato chips.
Tell them
they were
what
very
you would
greasy.
eat. Tell them what you would ask your mom to make you every time you went to her house.
Chips and dip.
Chips, what kind of dip?
Put a whole
a whole
Sour
bag.
cream and onion. I used to eat them for breakfast.
Sour cream?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Ask Mo about the pizza she ate the other night.
Do you have pizza?
Yeah.
Good for you.
See? Someone has to
Listen,
have it.
it's tough, man, because it's like, at some point, like, you want to go eat junk food and you think to yourself, like, what would Jay say? Kind of. Would he be like?
He would say,
I would
do
honestly.
you really need to eat that?
If I'm on a diet,
That's what he says.
if I'm on a diet though, I'm like thankful if someone can go eat some junk food, you know.
No, of course, I'm not saying like
Listen,
that.
man, I'm not, I'm not a saint. I've eaten plenty of junk food. I mean, there's no question, you know. I mean, cheesecake and desserts and all that stuff. I like burgers, that's something I do eat, but like having a turkey sandwich and some potato chips is great for me. That's just like a turkey sandwich with some cheese on there. I like cheese, so I mean, for me, it's like I don't really sit there and crave. Okay, well, I would like to have sugar this and sugar that. I mean, I don't get a craving for. I eat Snickers bars once in a while. There was a time when my macros and my nutrition was normal, where I ate on a specific diet day in, day out, and now, I'm just not a control eater where I just eat everything different on a daily basis. So the consistency has to be important as the training. I think I had the best advisors from the day I started, pretty much. From 6 months in, I started working with Chris Aceto, who's a major player in fitness. Trains a lot of top guys, made a lot of guys professionals. Brought me to Olympia, won my first Olympia with him. So I think it's good to hire someone that has some knowledge of some nutrition. Might as well do it right, because the nutrition is almost more important than the weight training is.
That's the show. Come on. Let's go, Jay. Come on.
Suck it up, suck it up, suck it up, suck it up.
Mentally, you have to be, I think, a little crazy. People approach me and they say, Jay, what's the secret? What's the secret? I don't like to eat anything. If you ask me what my favorite food is, I don't have a favorite food. I don't look forward to any meal at all. You're a living legend. That's what's amazing about what I do. And I'll tell you, Jay Cutler's the greatest of all time. I'm the greatest bodybuilder ever. And one tough son of a bitch.
"15 years ago, April '99. After I placed 4th at the Arnold Classic before my first Mr. Olympia, which I finished second to last, 240 pounds.
I've secured the legacy on the competition stage. I've done it, I've lost it, I won it back. It's not about how many times you win it, it's about the fashion you win it in. I still think I'm still the biggest name in bodybuilding. You hear the stories about someone becoming a bodybuilder because they were short or they were picked on or this and that. That wasn't never the case with me. For me, it was doing things at the fullest, which I learned through my whole life. If you're going to do something, you're going to do it all the way. I thought, okay, I'm going to be a bodybuilder and I'm going to take it as far as I can take it. Jay Cutler! It was about me getting on the stage and just showing my physique. And it'd be like asking me, who's your favorite bodybuilder? I really don't have one. Jay Cutler is my favorite bodybuilder, of course. Who's the greatest of all time? I'll tell you, Jay Cutler's the greatest of all time. I have something that a lot of these guys don't have, and I don't even have to know them to know that they don't have it, because it's very rare. And that's, the drive and the determination to be at your absolute best. And what I've done and what I continue to do and what I plan to do is still much bigger than anyone's going to do in this business. I have no question.
know when you think you've seen someone work hard, like, oh man, he works hard, and then you meet someone like Jay and you're like, this is a whole nother ball game. Like, the game kind of changed. After, you know, obviously what we do every day here, he also has to go out and travel every week. He has to speak to other people. He has to, you know, he's an ambassador for the sport. So him being, you know, technically my mentor, like, obviously we're friends, but I look at him more as like, you know, a mentor and someone who's guiding me, because I can tell you in the time, and a lot of time that we've been together, the stuff that I've learned is kind of priceless.
This is all about the fans. So for me, I got to sit, you know, I got to be able to produce money to obviously, you know, to keep coming up with new stuff and give people something to see. Now, yes, I've become one of the best merchandisers as far as, you know, online stuff for, you know, in the bodybuilding market, but it's with help through like guys like this. I mean, he's a 21-year-old kid, he's keen on a lot of stuff. He does a lot too. It's not just, you know, I more or less just kind of set it in front of him, because at this point, what I'm trying to do is take the pressure, take all of the workload off of him, because it's not his job, it's my job, and also he has you know, he's training for the show. For me, I was kind of like thrown out there and being like, you have to learn on your own. And you learn from mistakes, and I tell him, my success, what I've done in my career, everyone looks at it and says, God, Jay's been successful, a lot of things he's done, but I failed at so many things, and that's how I've become successful, because I know the mistakes, and you have to make those mistakes before you learn. You know, early in my career, I had great success. I won almost every show I ever did. I turned professional in my third or fourth contest. Going into the Olympia, I had huge expectations. My first Mr. Olympia, 99. And I finished 15 out of 16. And I quit after that show. I'm like, you know what, this is just, am I just not good? I actually questioned myself for the only time ever in my career. You know, I said, okay, I'm going to move forward. I'm going to get settled. I'm going to compete in the Night of Champions in 2000. And I won. I beat, you know, the likes of Paul Dillette, these guys. I won my first professional show, which I was not even on the radar for. And that was justification and made me realize that I could be very good. That's when I kind of knew I could be like the best soon.
Is the winner of this year's Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic. Is the hottest new pro to come on the scene in the last couple of years. Second place in this year's Mr. Olympia, Mr. Jay Cutler.
I was great, and I was talked about as an upcoming pro, and like I thought, okay, I'm gonna win this thing, like 1 year, this year, next, you know, right around the corner. And I got second 4 times to Coleman in a row. And to be honest, I mean, when I got to 2004, I was at wit's end, man. I was pretty much like, I think I said in 2006, if this doesn't happen, I mean, I'm going to start thinking about doing something else.
Ronnie's been here winning the show for the past, how many years, Ronnie? 6 years. But this is my town.
It just got frustrating. The guy won 8 times, and you know, I was second 4 already out of those 8 to him. I sat out 1 year, so that's basically 5 years that I was like waiting for this guy to be beat. And I understand the guy was probably the best bodybuilder ever, but at the same time, I was like the guy right there. It was like me and him in the show every year, and then everybody else. So the show was being sold as like the Jay and Ronnie show.
I've been coming here, you know, and getting second all these times, and since 2001, and they said the champ can't be taken out. Well, you know what? The new champ's in town.
I think the dedication and the commitment to being who I was and staying with it and actually winning is what people can look at as just, if you really put your time and effort in, eventually good things will come. I think pretty much I've secured the legacy on the competition stage. I really don't have any real specific goals as far as my physique. It's more on the aspect of the legacy of Jay Cutler and where it's going to go from here. once you win the Olympia, I always tell people, it's not about how many times you win it, it's about the fashion you win it in. So for me, I won, I beat the greatest guy of all time. I lost the title and I came back and won when no one thought I could do it. I'm pretty satisfied with the way things have gone and continue to go and what the future holds at this point. For me, what I learned all along is the only real money I made that stayed was money I invested in myself. And through even the small stuff, like the videos, which at the time were huge. I did like a trainer site, which didn't end up doing what it could have, but I didn't have to put a ton of money into it. The signature items, like, the Jay Cutler shaker cup and the fat grips and things that I chose to endorse. The belt line was chic with the Jay Cutler signature belt. All that residual stuff, that's money for forever, that's just going to come in, You can make a drastic amount of money being a marketer and traveling, doing guest appearances, being involved socially on the internet. I had my clothing line and I did things that no one ever did, the DVDs, and I was kind of the leader of all that stuff and becoming an endorser I made up so many endorsements. I created magazine. I was the first one ever to be contracted by any magazine. I was contracted by Flex and Muscular Development at the same time. I was the first one ever with both those magazines. I created that for the athletes. My first Muscle and Fitness cover is here. I was 21 years old in this cover. This was taken in Marina Del Rey. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was 1995. And that was my first Muscle and Fitness cover. And that was the beginning. I would say if anyone asked me what was the highlight cover, was for sure Joe Weider put me on Muscle and Fitness cover. Looking back and looking at my success, it's hard to think, well, I would have done things much differently. I always said if I won the Olympia, I'll try to do something different than the last guy did. I did in certain aspects, but I was so consumed with the training and the travel schedule and the demand of the sponsors that I had so little time to commit to that. Pulled myself away and I secluded myself. I became very selfish because I wanted to avoid any conflict that would affect my training. And that was my life. And that became, in the beginning, a show a year, then it turned into 2 shows a year, then multiple shows, and then eventually it was like, when I wasn't training for the show, I was booked at events, so no weekends were available to go see my family and spend time with my family, and I missed weddings and missed anniversaries and missed birthdays, and now looking, my dad's 84, my mom's 72. I'm trying to get there as much as I can to be with them, and obviously my brothers and sisters, their kids are all grown now, married, children. It's crazy. It's life goes by quick, and that's when you sit and realize, there could have been a lot of opportune times to spend more time with the family. That's how I'm so successful, is I can cut out anything. I can cut things in a minute. I can be your best friend, talk to me on the phone every day, and people used to be like, "What happened to you? You disappeared. I haven't talked to you." I'm training for a contest, man. They're like, "Well, why didn't you say anything?" You're like, it's one day it just stops. I said, that's how it works. I told you, when the phones go off, when this training starts, I don't answer the telephones. I don't have time to talk about what's going on outside of the gym in my house and training for this competition. It's the competitive nature of an athlete. I wish I had the answer for what the future brings. I have an idea. It involves a lot of work, but it's definitely a more mature stage. I think the competitive side's slowing down. I can't say when necessarily that's going to end, but I know my focus today is stepping into my job and stepping out. I know. My training has gotten a little more loose. I'm a businessman I'm not just a bodybuilder anymore. I'm not just zoned in on winning Mr. Olympia titles anymore. I've done it, I've lost it, I won it back. Yeah, I'd like to win one more, but I realized that to keep a level base and to keep moving forward and to have success where I want to go now, not just on the stage but off the stage, it's necessary to find more balance, and that's what I'm focused on. And that's every day moving forward. There's never going to be a day that passes that I'm going to step out and people aren't going to know who Jay Cutler is. I don't see it ever happening. You know, I've been a 4-time champ, you know, and I've been 6-time runner-up. And I'm the greatest bodybuilder ever. There's no question. I feel that I'm the greatest.
Jay Cutler!
Come on.
Let's go, Jay. Come on.
Suck it up, suck it up, suck it up, suck it up.
Mentally, you have to be, I think, a little crazy. People approach me and they say, Jay, what's the secret? What's the secret? What's the secret? I don't like to eat anything. If you ask me what my favorite food is, I don't have a favorite food. I don't look forward to any meal at all. You're a living legend. That's what's amazing about what I do. And I'll tell you, Jay Cutler's the greatest of all time.